we've cut our materials, we're gonna look at what we need to actually make the micarta. So first, of course, you're gonna need all your little scraps that you've cut. You're gonna need a micarta press. Basically, what I did for mine is I very, very roughly, as you can tell, nailed 2 smaller boards onto one board with a gap in the middle. This fine piece of craftsmanship just basically fits in between there. And you just, doesn't have to be perfect. It's just what I got now. I'll eventually show you how to actually make one and probably make a better one myself. You're gonna need some parchment paper. Doesn't matter what brand. You can use wax paper. I don't recommend it. I've tried it, and as I'll show you in a minute, it didn't work too well. You absolutely need some form of processed foods. And you're gonna need something to mix your epoxies in. I don't recommend those cups because what happens to them is the epoxy gets hot and actually melts the cups, but didn't have anything else to screw it. You're gonna need some epoxy resin or fiberglass resin. I haven't messed with fiberglass resin. I've got some coming in soon that I'm gonna test out. You're gonna need some clamps, and you absolutely need gloves. Absolutely. I did it once without gloves. I regretted it for the rest of the week. Trust me. First, we're gonna pick out what colors we wanna use. Now that I've got it layered up, it's about the thickness I want. Now when you put the epoxy, that's gonna obviously add some thickness to it. But I've got a piece done right here. This was actually some dark gray and blue that I have. And earlier I was telling you about the wax paper. All that right there is wax paper that got stuck in the creases. That's why I don't have that issue that much with parchment paper. With wax paper, this has happened both times I've made it. Now, this is like the end result before polishing or grinding away all these dents and all this junk. But this is actually some that I put some dye in the epoxy, so I'll show you how to do that later. But this is kind of the thickness. It's hard to tell. But basically you want it about as thick as your normal handle material would be. So I'm not sure the exact measurements, but just however thick you want your handles is how thick you need to make your materials. Now it's time for the rough part, the messy part, I should say. So I'm just gonna move these aside. Get mine that I want put set up. Now, if you notice, I didn't really follow the pattern I set for myself at the beginning. I kind of just threw it on however I wanted to. If you want to make a strict pattern, go for it. Personally, I really don't care. So what you're gonna do next to prep is you're gonna push this stuff aside. The clamps are gonna be last. The meat is, well, actually the meat's last. But you're gonna probably want to get your press set up. So you'll take your very highly, perfectly fitted middle piece out. Mine, honestly, kind of fits in sometimes. There's a certain way. There we go. So I'm just gonna stick this aside. And now I'm going to line this with parchment. I'm not sure how I'm gonna hold the camera and do this, but we'll see. Luckily, I was able to find some rusty old metal in a bucket to prop my phone up with. I'll have a camera soon, but for now this will do. So you're just gonna take your take your parchment paper, bring it out to about where you want it. You don't have to take the hard way, I just make things difficult on myself. Now, from here, you just want to line the inside of it. Doesn't matter if you have extra on the sides, but get that inside flat as you can. Hopefully this stays right here. So I also forgot to mention you need a mixing stick. It's just a scrap piece of wood I had, so that's why I'm gonna use my mixing stick. And this epoxy is 2-to-1 ratio. So I don't know if there's a specific way you're supposed to put it in. I just put the smaller portion first and then the larger portion second, and then I mix it. Now I'm gonna mix for a good little bit. It says about 3 to 5 minutes, but I usually just mix for about 2 minutes. Now for the messy part. Basically, you're gonna take a strip, you're gonna dip it, scrub around in the epoxy, make sure it's fully soaked, and you're gonna lay it down and repeat for every single layer. So I'm probably gonna time lapse this part. You will make a mess with this, so I'm going to tell you right now, put a box, maybe an old towel, some rags, paper towel, something underneath you. Some people even do this like over a trash can, and I don't blame them. Like, this is a very messy process. Also, while you're working with the epoxy, it will start to get warm. I've never had it get too hot on me because I work pretty quick, but it starts getting really hot in this little section here after a good 5-6 layers. That's why it melts those cups. So you've got to work as quick as you can with what you got. And of course, that's different with each kind of epoxy or fiberglass resin or whatever you're using. One thing you really want to do is make sure you soak it good, because if you leave dry spots, then whenever you're going to grind it or sand it or anything, it is going to be a mess. Now here's the really messy part. I'm gonna go grab some towels to put at the ends of this box because a lot is gonna drip at this point. Lots of people decide to put it over a trash can or something. I just don't have that set up with me right now. So I'm just gonna put paper towels. You don't want to put them at the ends. I'll push this up here, because it's going to leak a lot. You're going to want to have something to catch it. Now at this point, you're going to cover up with that parchment paper the area. You're going to put this on top, in place. I should have covered it. At this point, you could probably take the gloves off. I should have done that a minute ago before I put that wood on. Now it's all nasty. Ah, crap. Now we're gonna take our clamps, and I start in the middle with one on one side. You don't want to put too much pressure to squeeze everything out. You just want to put enough to where it clamps together and has some pressure. And you don't want a whole ton of it, because epoxy by itself isn't super strong as a handle material. It needs something else to give it its strength. So you're gonna wanna have pressure just to keep it from being excessively epoxy and not enough material. I think that's good. Now, the most important part, now that it is clamped. A lot of people don't know this. Meat. And now we wait. As you can see, maybe, it's dripping down, and it's just gonna slowly seep out of that for the next hour or so. Let's see if we can catch it. Oh yeah, this other side's dripping too. And it'll just collect there. I haven't had to use more than maybe 2 paper towels, but depending on how much epoxy you put in, depends on how much you need. This, if you notice, about here on is not usable. It's just too thin, it's just the scraps. Same thing on this side. And all these ridges are actually where that thing, the clamp part sets in, and it adds a little bit of a ridge on each side. That just gets ground off. And what I'll do is I'll cut this in half, and it's enough for a big handle. I could try and cut it into thirds, but then I'd have to make an exact copy of the same kind, and it's really hard to do that. So I usually just cut it in half. But we'll probably make a knife out of this in the next video. As for today's, maybe in a couple videos it'll be done. I'll show the result, we'll make a knife from it, and we'll see how it goes. If y'all want me to do something, I don't know. I don't think this is very entertaining, but you might find it entertaining. If there's anything I can do to make it more entertaining, talking a funny accent, wear weird clothes, I don't know. Throw in little skits or something, I don't know. I'll put something together if y'all want to. If not, I'll just make knife making videos. Whatever you want, whatever's most entertaining to you. I'll put on some jorts. Or I can just make knives. Whatever y'all want me to do. Just let me know in the comments. This video and the next video will probably be released very quickly. So if you comment on this video, it'll have to be in the one after the next one probably, because I've already almost finished filming the other one. In fact, the Micarta is almost done drying. It's right here, almost done. It looks like it's liquid, but it's actually solid. Anyways, I'm out of breath. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up this next knife. If y'all have any ideas, just let me know. Also, join the Discord. Really, that's gonna be the best way to communicate with me. I have Discord with me almost all the time, even while I'm at work. So that's the best way to get a hold of me. So, later.